Whew, so I might end class a little smidge early because I have an appointment to get to, and but just by 5 minutes or so. So let's get nice and comfy. Maybe close the eyes if that feels right for today. And just take this first moment to settle in. I have a teacher that I really love who sometimes talks about dropping back and into the seat of awareness. And when we're contemplating the yamas, and particularly this yama of satya, truthfulness, this seat of awareness is a good place to cultivate, to learn to connect with and be comfortable in. It can be a little uncomfortable sitting in that seat of awareness, trying to be present. So if you've connected there, and then maybe just shifting while you settle to your breath. It's part of the practice of finding safety within yourself, finding truth. Awareness of the breath coming in and going out. Just giving yourself permission to not get tangled up in the story of whether your breath is deep enough or shallow enough or forceful enough. Just letting it be enough as it is. And letting the body settle. Maybe as you breathe, stillness comes, you notice some tightness or holding. Just let that go. Now dropping a little bit deeper into the body, noticing the sits bones, the weight that is right there at the base of the spine, equally distributed. And then pressing into those sits bones to lift up and stretch the spine, pressing the top of your head towards the ceiling. Tucking the chin a little bit, pulling the head back over the shoulders. And then if it feels okay, keeping the eyes closed, just start moving your head so that you're pointing your nose over your right shoulder. Breathing naturally, and then looking over the left shoulder. And going back and forth. It's your choice if you want to keep the eyes closed or open. Lots of options. Well, really just two, I guess. Oh man. We gotta laugh at ourselves sometimes. But with the eyes closed, you're just kind of protecting your senses a little bit, keeping things a little smaller for just a moment. And so maybe that allows you to notice the body a little bit more. Notice if there's tightness. And then the next time your nose is at the center, go ahead and stop, and then just drop the chin to the chest. And then raise up and gently bring the nose towards the ceiling. Don't overdo it, and go back and forth. And with the eyes closed, if that's how you've chosen to practice this, you might notice that this sensation goes down into the back, over into the shoulders, up near the ears, the front of the neck. Just notice how it changes. This is the truth of your body, the movement. The next time your chin is at your chest, just start to roll your ear over to the shoulder, whichever way you'd like to go. And come down and go the other way. And just go back and forth. You might hear some noises inside. Totally normal. And just go back and forth. And the next time your chin is to your chest, just gently rise it up. Let's take one more big deep breath, fill up the lungs. And then as you exhale, blink the eyes open. Roll the shoulders a couple of times. Focus on the shoulder blades and that feeling of up and down. Let's bring the arms out. Inhale, arms up. And let's just twist over to the right. Make that decision at the last minute. And then inhale up and twist over to the left. Oh yeah. And just take your time with this. Make a little flow out of it. Back and forth. Notice how the midsection is feeling, how the core is responding. And then keep those sits bones on the mat. It can be difficult, but it'll help you to anchor and get more out of the movement, out of the twist into the core and shoulders and hips. Great. All right, arms up and just bring the hands together all the way through and fold right over your knees. Get those sticky hands. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. Exhale. And come on up. Switch the cross of the legs. And we're just going to do that same little flow. So inhaling, this time I'm going to start with a little twist to the left. And you can hold on to a knee if you're starting to loosen up a little bit for a little traction, a little bit more of a twist. Inhaling and exhaling. Go with the pace that's working for you today. You might get into a little twist on one side and be like, oh yeah, that feels really good. The truth is, I need to stay in this position. Go right ahead. Take a few breaths there. Use the breath to increase the stretch. Keep dropping the shoulders. I have a tendency to hike them up. Great. And we'll stop. Next time you're at center, just fold over. Use those sticky hands, kind of press yourself back and come on down. Let's take one more breath here. Exhale, fold. And then walk up. All right, bring the feet flat in front of you with the knees about hip distance apart. We'll start with the feet sort of close, hip distance. Little micro bend in the elbows. And we're gonna work towards a little peak pose here, which is gonna be our yogi squat. So it's gonna take a little bit to get there and just start letting the knees drop side to side. Watched a little video yesterday about the yogi squat. Some people call it the egg, but it's one of the best stretches we can do, especially as we're aging, to keep the hips flexible and lubricated, to keep the back. Woo. All right, stop. Make the feet a little bit wider. Bring the feet maybe shoulder distance or more, and same thing. So now really starting to open up those hip flexors. Great. I find that when I do this, I kind of walk down the mat a little bit. So bring your hands along with you. You can always scoot yourself back. Good. Hopefully you're opening up a little bit, finding that you can get those knees down and then come to stillness. Okay, we're going to take both legs and swing them over to the right. So your left leg's in front, your right leg is back here. If you find that you start getting like a hitch or any kind of like crunchiness in this hip, go ahead and just straighten out the leg and kind of roll it around a bit, and that should release. But right now we're going to be, like, some people call this 90-90 because the knees are sort of at 90-degree angles. What we want to do is see if we can get up as straight as possible. So you might be leaning over, that's okay, but press down into that right sits bone. Bring the right hand onto the right knee. And if you've got a block, it's a good opportunity to use a block right here under the left hand. What we want to try to avoid doing is leaning into this left hand like this. We want to use the core and the strength of the hips to stay as upright as possible, and just use this for a little stability. So engage the core, and we're going to take this right hand, and we're going to inhale and pull the knee up, turn towards it, try to stay out of this left hand, and then exhale and turn away. Good. Inhale and exhale. Don't overdo it. Your arms are pretty strong. So just a little assist here in really stretching out that hip flexor, that inner thigh. Great job. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. All right, and now we're going to go into like a modified pigeon. So it's kind of like a pigeon light. If you've got that block, you can keep it here. You're going to take both of your hands and bring them over to the outside of that left thigh. So not along the knee, but over here. And then you're going to straighten out that right leg. And you're going to keep the thigh like it is. You're not going to pick it up and move it into pigeon. Just going to keep it like this and come down onto the forearms. So you're really focusing on the piriformis here, that muscle right in the center of the glutes. Check and see if there's any like tightness in the thigh, and just see if you can let it go. And if you've got a block, you can rest the head. So it's like a modified pigeon. We're not totally in pigeon, kind of like baby pigeon. Just take a breath or two here. See if you can relax the shoulders. Make any modifications you need to. Just see if you can soften around that piriformis. Take a deep breath. And then press yourself back up into that 90-90. Whew, all right, now here's where things get interesting. We're going to pick up that right knee and we're going to bring it in front and stack it right on top of that left shin. So this is called burning log, aptly named, I believe. And you might find that this knee is way up or down, you know, it's totally okay. But what we're going for is ankle on top of knee, knee on top of ankle. So very different than sitting in easy pose. This probably does not feel as easy pose. And if this right knee is sort of popped up, we're going to use that right hand to kind of press it down a little bit, square up the shoulders, find those sits bones, get nice and tall, and just apply a little bit of pressure. We're really working on this right hip right now. One more breath. Excellent. All right, release the pressure. And if you're able to, you can pick this leg up a little bit. Just kind of cradle the right ankle in the left hand, and that hold the right knee and just sort of move it around. Yeah, nice. Really opening up that hip. All right, now we're going to keep this kind of just, what you're going to do is swing yourself over the other way. I wish there's a more graceful way to do that. I'll try to figure it out someday. Bring that block over to the right. Now, I have a tighter hip over here, so I'm leaning a little bit more. So I'm going to really focus on pressing that left sits bone down and get myself as straight as I can. Not terribly straight, but working on it. Now it's going to be harder for me not to lean into this hand. So I'm going to stay really focused, really connected, really aware with my core. If I need to, I can stretch this out. Okay, here we go. So left hand on that left knee, core is engaged, inhale. Might be just a little tiny lift at first. Exhale, twist, inhale, and exhale. Couple more. Notice that you might be getting a little more lift each time you do it, and try to stay out of dumping into that right hand. Good, good, good. Stay with your core. One more. Ah, beautiful. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna do that modified baby pigeon. So hands come over onto the outside of that right thigh, stretch out that left leg, and leaving the leg as it is, the right leg as it is, coming down. Notice that nice stretch. Whew. Try and check the quads, so the big muscles in the front of the thighs. Tends to be a lot of holding and like a protecting there. See if you can let it go. If you are a runner or a walker, sometimes pigeon can be a little too much, but we want to stretch out that piriformis for the low back sake. And this can be a great way to modify that and really get into the center of the glutes. Let's take another breath or two here. And then we'll use our hands to gently press ourselves up, and we'll invite that left leg to come on top of the right, burning log again. So shin bones right on top of each other as much as you're able. Totally make some modifications as needed. Maybe scooch that right foot out a little bit so it's right under the left knee. And you'll probably notice a difference from side to side here. Use a little bit of pressure on that left knee, press it down, engage the core, stay nice and tall. Try and relax those quads again. They're going to tighten up right around the knees, relax. Breathing, stay with the breath. And then when you're ready, picking up, we want to protect right here at the ankle. We don't want to hold the foot and like put a lot of pressure on that ankle bone. And then just rock it around. All right. All right, put that one back down. And we're going to come right into a little bit of a split. So stretching both of the legs out. Should be a little bit easier with the stretches we've already done. Reach behind you, pick yourself up and roll forward a little bit onto the front of those sits bones. And just hold on to this. Oh man, this is one of the toughest ones. The older I get, the more I have to practice this. But I believe in it. I really do. All right, so bring your attention to your shoulders. If you're hanging onto your legs, if your hands are in the center here, and just engage those shoulder blades and try and pull the shoulders back a little bit. So tendency, I certainly do it, to sort of round forward. We want to keep those shoulders engaged. The rhomboids, those beautiful muscles right around the shoulder blades and the lats, I'm going to work those together to pull the shoulder blades back and down, keeping the chest nice and open instead of collapsing in on ourselves. Great. And then just gently start to pull yourself forward. It's a paradox, right? We're pulling ourselves forward while keeping the chest open. It's a tough order, but we can do it. Focus, stay present. We can do hard things. And then start relaxing the leg muscles, pressing the backs of the legs down into the mat. Beautiful. We're going to take 3 breaths here, really focused ones. You might be able to stretch out a little more after each exhale. Shoulder blades locked and loaded, chin tucked, back straight. Inhale, lengthen. Feel that energy come up from the base of the spine. And as you exhale, see if there's just a micromillimeter of space for you to come forward. Beautiful. Keep those shoulders engaged, shoulder blades, upper back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, is there another micromillimeter for you to come forward? Keep the shoulders engaged. Beautiful. Getting there. Press the back of the legs down onto the mat. Maybe even at this point, turn the feet on by pulling the toes back. Oh, yeah, that got spicy. That accelerated quickly. All right, shoulders, one more breath. Here we go. Inhale. Lengthen from the base of the spine. Pull that energy right up to your head. Exhale, fold, little micro bend. Beautiful. And then come on up. Woo! All right, we made some progress. Bring the feet together. Little butterfly here. Press those knees down. Forward fold. All right, we're going to change things up here in a moment. Take one more breath. Lock and load those shoulder blades. Come on up. Hand under each knee. Bring the knees together and follow me into tabletop. We know how to do this. Some cat and cow. Inhale for the cow. Ooh, be gentle. Yeah, my low back's a little like, you were just having me do the other thing. Now we're doing this thing. Woo. All right, cat. Oh. So the yogis prescribe inhaling for cow and exhaling for cat. But honestly, if you'd prefer to do it the other way, it's really okay. There's no like absolute rule here. Everybody is different, and the truth of what works for your body may be very different than what works for mine. So don't get too worked up about breathing. Just keep breathing. Let it anchor you into your practice in whichever way it shows up for you. All righty. Beautiful. All right. Let's come into puppy to open up those shoulders. Bringing the forehead down. Arms are reaching out, but hips are still up instead of down like they would be in child's pose. And we're going to press into the tops of the feet a little bit to take some of the weight off of the knees. We're going to inhale into the rib cage. And exhale, let the sternum drop. 2 more times, just like that. Yeah. Every time you exhale, that heart space comes a little closer to the mat. 1 more time. Beautiful. All right. Keeping the hands far away like they are. I'm going to scooch back a little bit on my mat. We're going to come up and we're going to come forward and let the hips drop down. Now be careful with this. Keep the core really pulled in and just gently start to drop down. Good. And then exhale all the way back to child's pose. So we're going to inhale into this little like baby cobra. And then exhale back to child's pose. If your low back gets it all twingy with you, make a modification and maybe just come to here. Don't come all the way down. And then as you exhale, pull belly button to spine to come back to child's pose. Gorgeous. 3 more of these. Make them your own. Don't overdo it. Press into the tops of the feet. That's really going to anchor you and protect you. Good job. 2 more. Last one. And we're gonna land in child's pose for just a moment, all the way back. Roll your forehead side to side. Great. On an inhale, come to stillness. Come on up to that extended table. Roll both toes under and exhale into downward facing dog. Great. Engage the core here. So I've tried to figure out different ways of cueing this and explaining this. And the best way I have come up with is when you're in down dog, it's easy to lay into the hands. But what we want to do is bring our conscious awareness to the tailbone. Take a big deep breath in, and as you exhale, pull your tailbone forward. Yeah, I know it's weird, but you're engaging the lowest transverse abdominals, and you should feel, or you could feel, your heels just drop down. And the weight and strength of the posture then comes into the legs instead of the arms. And keep that engagement, that low, low engagement. Great job. Shake the head yes, shake the head no. And then look to your hands, bend the knees, and start walking your hands up to the top of your mat, the front of your mat, for a little forward fold here. We're just going to do a little baby vinyasa after we forward fold here for a moment. So we can come into our peak pose of the day, our yogi squat. We're getting there. All right, so take your weight to the back of your feet, even lifting up your toes. Pull your belly button to your spine and slowly start to stand up. I'm not going to adjust the camera. You don't need to see the top of my body because we're really going to stay down here. But just inhale your arms up overhead. Forward fold, bend the knees straight down, all the way down. Great job. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend the knees enough so that your hands come to the mat or you have blocks, and step the right leg back. So you come into runner's lunge. All right, bring your hands a little bit back so they're on either side of that left foot. Whew, and really press through the back of that right heel. Take a breath or two. And then drop the right knee down and flatten the right foot. Plant that right hand with fingers spread wide, right on the inside of that left foot. We're going to inhale the left arm up and open for a little twist. Try to come up out of that right arm as much as possible. So you can almost like lift it up. Yeah, you're reaching with the left. And then if you want to take a little bit more of a challenge, go ahead and turn those right toes under again and lift that right leg up. Yeah, beautiful. See if you can stay out of that right arm again. Press into the left foot. Great job. Beautiful twist. Hold on to it for one more breath. If you can, take a break whenever you need to. And then lower that right knee, flatten that right foot. Bring the left hand back down. Open up that right hand so you've got space to step into. I know we're taking this in parts, but it's good for us, building balance. Turn the right toes under again. Lift that right leg up. Press back. We're going to step that right leg forward to meet the left. Beautiful. Forward fold. Inhale the arms all the way up. Gentle look up, hands to your heart. Whew. Roll the shoulders. So the good news is my daughter's moving out in June and I'll have a yoga room. Yay. So then we'll be able to see all of me instead of, pardon me. Inhale, arms up. You just got to hang on till June. Forward fold, exhale with this little space, but that's okay. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. All right, knees a little bit bent, and we're going to step the left leg back this time. Beautiful. Bring those hands to each side of the right. Press back through that left heel. Notice the difference from one side to the other. Maybe a little easier, maybe a little more difficult, more challenging. And then bring that left knee down. Flatten that left foot. Plant the left hand on the inside of that right foot, and then inhale the right arm up for a nice twist. Aren't you glad we did those baby pigeons and stretched out that piriformis? All right, try and lift up, press into the right foot. So you could pick that left arm up if you needed to, if you wanted to. You're reaching with the right. Now for a little extra challenge, turn those left toes under, lift that left leg again. Whoo, can you press into the right? Yes, good job. Beautiful, keep reaching up, up, up. Core, shoulders, legs, we're working hard. One more breath here. Beautiful, and then bring that left knee down. Flatten the foot. Bring the right arm back. Take a breath. Beautiful, turn those left toes under again. Pick up that left leg, make space for the left foot and step it forward. Beautiful. And then slowly rise up. Sweep the arms all the way up, big inhale. Exhale, hands to your heart. All right, last thing we'll do before we get to our peak pose, we're gonna take a wide stance on the mat. So turn your mat, take a moment or step off of your mat, however this feels good. Nice wide stance, and we're gonna start to forward fold, hinging at the hips and reach down. Oh yeah. Whoo, nice job. Micro bend in the knees. And just go ahead and move around a little bit. Let your intuition take over. Do you need to move side to side a little bit? That might feel good, but let this be organic. Move the arms. See how far you can get yourself down. And then walk both of your hands over to the left foot. Oh yeah, we're getting ready. You can tell the energy is starting to build. And then walk over to the right foot. And bend your knees any way you need to make this feel good. Take a breath over to the center. Again, beautiful. All right, from here, we're gonna toe heel the feet in, maybe a little bit more than shoulder distance apart. I like to turn my feet out a little bit. And then we're gonna slowly start to bring the hips down, adjust your feet, and come into our yogi squat. So elbows are inside the knees, pressing the knees out. Hands are in Anjali Mudra. Beautiful, I see you, yay! This has taken me such a while to get to, but it's such a beautiful shape. Yes, okay, breathe. Come up out of the shoulders, pull the head back. Let all of that weight start moving into the hips. Whoa, try not to fall over. Close your eyes if that works for you. And see if we can take 3 deep breaths together. Let's do that. Inhale. Lengthen the spine. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. With your exhale, bring your hands back down and slowly rise up. Beautiful job. Toe heel those feet in to about hip distance apart. Grab opposite biceps. Let your head hang. Ragdoll, side to side. Doesn't look like we're going to get to use our strap today, but that's all right. Come to stillness. And just gently bring yourself down onto the mat. Whew, keep your knees bent and roll onto your back. Bring your knees with you. Bring your head down gently. Be kind to yourself. We did some hard work today. Roll side to side. We're not done yet. Got a few little twists to take here. Those will feel really good on the low back. And we'll make them sort of deep. So let's do this. Let's bring the feet down to the mat, keeping the knees bent. And we're just going to scooch yourself over to the left side of your mat so that your left side of your body is on the left edge of your mat. And then roll yourself entirely over onto your right side. Bring your legs up in, see if you can get to 90 degrees if that feels comfortable for you, and arms out. So the right arm is on the bottom. We're just gonna take that left arm up and all the way over for a pretty intense twist. Make any adjustments you need to. So take a moment to let that left leg maybe come up and over a little bit. Pick up the shoulders so that the shoulder blades are nice and flat. You can keep the arms out in a T, or you can even put them up in palm or cactus rather. And I like to try and get it so that I'm even looking to the left. So a full spinal twist from top to bottom. And keep making adjustments as your body melts into the shape. And breathe into the diaphragm. Breathe into that space right under the rib cage and the low transverse abdominals. And that's going to help to really allow this hip to settle. And once that happens, if you'd like, you can take your right hand, reach down and pull that left knee up and over. The anchor point that we want to keep on the mat is that left shoulder. So if pulling the left leg up and over pulls the left shoulder up, then you've gone a little too far for today, and let it go. Great. All right, breathing into the space where you're feeling the most resistance. And then exhaling. Close your eyes if that feels right, if that feels true. And with this next inhale, notice how much the inhale changes the shape. All the way from shoulder to hip. One more breath. With the exhale, release the left leg, bring that left arm back over. Tuck everything in nice and gentle. Use your elbow to press yourself back up. And we're just going to scooch ourselves over to the right side of the mat so that the right side of your body lines up, and roll over onto your left. We're going to do the same technique. Bring those knees up a little bit, straighten out the legs, and bring the right arm up and over. Whew. Settle in, get those shoulders nice and flat. Take your time. Honor what's true here today. See if you want to bring the hands into cactus, the arms into cactus. Take a few settling breaths. And then decide if you want to reach down for that right knee. Bring it up and over. And then once again, just using your conscious awareness to settle into the space where you feel the most resistance. And using your breath as a tool of grace. Create some space where there's that resistance. Honor your body, but see if you can hold space for it. Two more big breaths. And then letting that go when you feel ready. Bringing the right arm back over. Using your elbow to come on back and find a middle spot that feels good for you. Maybe keeping the knees bent or straightening your legs out for Shavasana. Just take one moment to scan the body. Notice where you're feeling some release. Maybe a little gentle smile comes on the face. And now just wiggle your fingers and toes. Kind of a short Shavasana, but that's all right. Bending your knees and just roll over to one side. Use your arms whenever you feel like it to bring yourself up. You can stay down if that feels right for today. Find an easy seat. You might like to keep your eyes closed for another moment or two. And I'm going to read a little poem from my friend Dana Folds. This is a great book. It's available on Amazon. What's True Here by Dana. And this is her poem, What's True? And I thought it'd be appropriate when we're thinking about the yama of satya, or truthfulness. What's true here is delight. What's true is the flight of a soul testing its wings and finding them airworthy. What's true are all the many challenges of life, from pain and resistance to anxiety and self-judgment, all arrayed like laundry on a line, so I can decide which ones to fold and which ones get relegated to the rag pile. What's true here is a glorious day blown in on storm winds. What's true is a choice to be awake, alive, and joyous in the face of whatever this day brings. What's true is giving thanks and taking none of this for granted. Sometimes gratitude is the hardest thing